All right, let's talk about a classic exam challenge, one that can really trip people up. Writing a compelling article when you're under pressure. We're going to break down a really simple but powerful blueprint that will help you write with confidence and clarity every single time. So let's get started and build that blueprint together.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. That moment of panic. You're staring at a blank page and the clock is just ticking a little too loudly. The good news is there's a clear strategy that cuts right through that chaos. It all starts by really understanding the fundamental goal of any article.
So, before we can write a great one, we kind of need to know the rules of the game. What is an examiner actually looking for when they ask for an article? Okay, this is it. The core mission of any article is right here, to attract and hold attention. That is so key. See, unlike a formal report or an essay, an article is meant to be read, maybe even enjoyed, and understood by a pretty broad audience. That means it absolutely has to be engaging from the very first word to the very last. And that mission, well, it can take a bunch of different forms. You might be asked to describe a personal experience, present a really strong opinion, or even offer some practical advice. The most crucial first step is to figure out your specific purpose before you even think about writing. Knowing your goal is going to shape your entire approach. And that brings us to the pre-writing strategy. Honestly, this might be the most important step of all because it happens before your pen even hits the paper. This is where you build your game plan for success.
These 3 questions are your secret weapon. Seriously. First, where will it appear? This tells you about the format. Second, who is the reader? This dictates your tone. I mean, are you talking to your friends or to the general public? Big difference. And third, what is the aim? This defines your entire purpose. Answering these will guide every single choice you make from here on out.
Okay, once your game plan is set, it's time to build the structure. And thankfully, there's a simple, foolproof framework you can rely on every single time. And here it is, the unbeatable 4-part formula. A title that grabs attention. An introduction that tells the reader what you're about to talk about. The main body, which is where you develop all your ideas. And a conclusion that wraps it all up neatly. Simple, effective, and really easy to remember when you're under pressure. Now, the main body is the absolute heart of your article. This is not the place for one-sentence paragraphs, okay? You need to develop your points here with examples, with details, with clear explanations. You should be aiming for 2 to 5 solid paragraphs to really dig in and explore your topic. So we have our structure. But how do we avoid writing something that sounds, like a textbook? How do we make it lively and engaging? Let's look at a few simple tricks that make a huge difference. These 3 techniques right here are your best friends for creating an engaging style. They're so simple, but trust me, they make a huge difference in how your article actually lands with the reader. First up, talk directly to your reader. Using words like you, we, or let us creates this instant connection. It completely changes the article from feeling like a lecture into feeling like a conversation, which makes the reader feel way more involved. Second, ask questions. Posing a direct question is such a powerful tool because it forces your reader to pause and actually think. It pulls them deeper into the topic and encourages them to actively engage with your ideas instead of just, passively reading along. And finally, use quotations. Now, in an exam, you can even just make up a simple one, like, as one expert noted. This adds a fantastic layer of authority and texture to your writing. It breaks up your own voice and can make your arguments feel much more credible and well-rounded. It's a great little trick. All right, let's bring it all home. We've covered the what, the why, and the how. So here is the final checklist you can just run through in your head on exam day. This is your recipe for success. Know who you're writing for. Create a title that hooks them in. Stick to that 4-part structure. Build out your main body. Sprinkle in those lively techniques we talked about, and finish with a conclusion that leaves a real lasting impression. You follow these steps, and you're going to be in great shape. So there you have it, a complete blueprint for writing an awesome exam article. Just remember, this structure is there to support you, not to limit your creativity. Now you have the tools. The only real question left is, what story will you tell?